Hey everyone, I'm Lindsay Jones from sunny California. Now I'm out here on my patio and I just moved into my new home a couple months ago, and the first thing I did was plant some fresh herbs. So I've decided to use a couple in this week's side dish recipe for the real women of Philadelphia. So down here I have some sage, a little chives, but for this recipe I'm gonna grab some basil. And this week we are using Philadelphia cooking cream, and there's 4 different flavors, and let me tell you, this is a lifesaver, a time saver, and it's so delicious that I was eating it with a spoon. Don't tell anyone. But let's go inside and find out exactly what I'm going to be making this week. Alright ladies, so here is my challenge tonight. I'm having 2 couples over and they both have kids. So I was racking my brain, what can I make that the kids can have for their main meal, but that's also a great side dish for adults? And so I came up with Philly shells and bells. And I was so happy that this week we were using Philadelphia cooking cream, because what do kids love? They love macaroni and cheese, right? And one thing that I love to make for dinner parties or just for a beautiful presentation on the plate is stuffed bell peppers. So I decided I would use this to make macaroni and cheese because it makes it so simple, so flavorful, and then stuff the macaroni and cheese, I'm actually using shells, right into the bells. So it's a beautiful, colorful recipe. It's a great way to get your kids to eat some veggies because the bowl that their macaroni and cheese in is right in a bell pepper. And on the plate, the presentation is gorgeous next to a piece of flank steak, maybe a piece of fish. So let's get cooking. First step to this simple recipe is we're going to cook our pasta. So I have a pot of boiling water, about 3/4 of a pound of pasta shells, medium pasta shells. Let me just throw those in here. And then about a teaspoon of salt so I can just flavor the pasta. While the pasta's boiling, I'm going to cook my bacon, because did I mention there is bacon in my Philly shells and bells? Alright, so while your bacon is cooking away, you're going to prepare your bell peppers. It's so easy. First, you slice off the top. Don't slice off too much. And then inside you can see the seeds and the white membrane. You just want to cut right around. It'll loosen right up. You can just reach in there with clean hands, grab the seeds, put them right out. Now you want your bell peppers to sit up straight for this. So if you by chance get a bell pepper that's a little crooked, you can just cut a tiny bit right off the bottom, put it on your tray. Now normally when you're making homemade macaroni and cheese, it's a little time consuming. You have to use the flour and the butter to make your roux. Well, not with Philadelphia cooking cream. The sauce is pretty much already done for you. The first ingredient in our shells and cheese sauce is butter, butter, butter. And just like you, Paula, I love me some real butter. So 2 tablespoons goes into my pot. It's on medium heat and I want to let that melt. I am going to go big or go home. Ladies, I've decided to blend 2 of the flavors because they're just that good. I'm using the Italian cheese and herb. I'm going to use 2 containers of this. And then I'm going to use about 1/4 of a cup of the Santa Fe blend because it has a little spiciness. And when I mixed them together, it just really gave the whole dish a tiny bit of a kick. So we're going to add 2 of the Italian herb and cheese flavor. I'm going to add about 1/4 of a cup of the Santa Fe blend. I want to mix those together for about a minute. Alright, now that we have the base of our shells and cheese sauce, keeping it in the family, I have some Kraft sharp cheddar cheese, so we're going to add 1 cup of that. And then adding some milk. This is 1/3 cup shallots. Shallots are just a little more mild than a regular onion, so they're really delicious in this recipe. Bacon. And then my fresh basil from my garden. And then last, just a little bit of pepper. And then the next step is we are going to add our green peas, so just some frozen green peas and some black olives. Bright green peas are just going to look gorgeous in this sauce. Drum roll, please! Ladies, this is an exciting time in this recipe. This is when it all starts to come together. So I'm going to take the sauce that we made, simply pour it over my shells. Then you're just going to fold that all together to coat the pasta before we fill our bell peppers. At this point, I kind of think about this as a marriage, you know, our colorful, beautiful bells finally meeting their match with our creamy Philly shell. You are just going to take your bell and fill it with your creamy shells just up to the top. Okay, girls, once you have finished filling your last bell, you deserve a treat. You know what I'm talking about. A little sample, because the proof is in the Philly shells, right? Creamy, Philly, bacon, heaven. We have made it to the final stretch, and here in my hand I'm holding a pre-made pie crust. And that is because I am going to go ahead and roll this out, brought it to room temperature, and this is a great way to top off, pun intended ladies, this recipe. I'm just going to go ahead and brush it with some olive oil. Then you're going to take just any of your favorite dried Italian spices, whatever your favorite is, and you're going to sprinkle it right on top of this crust that we are going to top our shells and bells with. So you're just going to cut your crust into 4 even pieces. Take a slice, lay it right over your pepper, and then you just want to kind of roll the edges up, just like you would on a pie, all the way around. Tuck it in to your bell pepper. Alright girls, things are really starting to heat up in here. My oven's at a toasty 400 degrees. You saw how our beautiful colored bells met those creamy shells. Pretty hot stuff, right? So now, with pride and joy, I pronounce them Philly shells and bells. Let's bake these beauties. Pull these out of the oven, just let them cool off for 3 to 5 minutes before you do the final step, the icing on the cake, if you will, which is putting a little of the Philadelphia cooking cream right on top. Now I'm using a pastry bag, but you can use a Ziploc sandwich bag and just clip off the tip. So I'm just going to fill in the center with a little bit of the Philadelphia cooking cream. Okay girls, the moment of truth has arrived. I've come out on my patio to relax for a minute before my guests get here and taste my creation. Here we go. Be still, my heart. Is that a side dish or is that a side dish? Woo! Creamy, delicious, colorful, everything you would want in a side dish. So I want to say I had so much fun doing this, and thank you, Miss Pauladine, for hosting this awesome contest, without which I may have never found out about Philadelphia cooking cream. So a great big good luck to all the real women of Philadelphia. I had a great time, and I'm going to say goodbye for now.